Hello, I'm Nathan Casey, and I'll be giving you a tour of my internship today at AB&T Diesel Repair and Performance. As we first start off our tour, I'm going into the engine room. This is where we did all of our engine rebuilds. It's separate from the main shop to give us the ability to have a more cooled environment, a little bit cleaner workspace. Most engine rebuilds require really tedious torque specs and things of that nature, so having a clean workspace is always good. Here's like the main lobby, I guess, where you could call it, where customers would come in and pick up trucks, sit down and wait for their vehicle to be diagnosed or fill out paperwork. Just kind of showing some of the advertising that the company does for their unlimited mileage warranty. There's kind of the main office, where supervisors would sit, or sometimes we got to work in there to do different invoices and stuff like that. This is the fluids, oil change, coolant change. This is just kind of the front part of the shop that we're walking through here. There's the dyno underneath that white truck. Here's the main office. This is where most of the paperwork done. All of the clocking in and clocking out is done. All the keys are hanging. As we continue our tour, we're going to head outside and kind of get a tour of the facility outside. As you can see, there's a lot of trucks here, anything from Dodge, Ford, Chevy. There might even be some Toyotas around back. This just kind of gives a good idea of kind of what the shop looks like if you were to be in it, walking around. You get to see all the lifts, kind of see how everything is laid out. Typically, the shop is a little bit more messier than it is now, but in this video, it's been pretty much cleaned up real well. This is the outside back corner of the lot. You can see that all these vehicles are vehicles that we worked on: buses, trucks, cars, you name it, ambulances. There's just so much diversity in here that we got to work on throughout the course of our internship. And so I'm just kind of slowly walking around so you can kind of see what the facility looks like. It sits on 2 acres. It's backed up to frontage road of I-35, so it's got a pretty good location for being accessible for most people that are trying to get their vehicles worked on. But it's a pretty big shop. It's got 8 bays, so basically it's capable of handling up to 8 full-time mechanics at a time. So this is kind of the outside of it. Here's just the back side of the shop that we didn't get to look at. There's the air compressor that I got to learn a few different things on the startup and shutdown procedures. That was a little different than I was used to. There's the 4-post lift. Use it for cars that can't be picked up by the other or too low to the ground. This is just kind of a general walkthrough of showing you the lifts and kind of the space that we had and the environment that we got to work in every day. Here's Joe. He didn't want to be photoed, so I snuck this photo of him. Joe's been here 10 years. He's a pretty great guy. We got to develop a pretty good relationship. This is Jimmy. Me and Jimmy worked a lot together. We got put on the same projects and got to help one another throughout my internship. This is Colin. He didn't really want to be photoed, so that's kind of why I got this standoff photo of him. Didn't really get to talk to him or hang out much with him. He did a lot of his own stuff. This is Cody Wood. He was my advisor. He didn't want to be photoed, so I just pulled this picture off of his Facebook to kind of, just so you could see who he was. These are just some more photos that I've taken over the course of the internship with the engine room. Those are some engine stands specifically designed for Ford engines. Here's our cherry picker engine hoist. We use this to pull all of our engines out with. Again, these are just miscellaneous photos that I've taken. This is on a job that we did for a customer on his truck that was leaking fuel line. Had to replace it, and we did a little quick fix on it just to get it back on the road until we could get the part ordered in. It wasn't a big task, but it did take probably 3 or 4 hours to get it completed. This picture of me working on a Dodge 5.9 Cummins engine. We were doing a teardown on it to get ready to do a rebuild. This is another truck that we got to work on throughout the internship. This was about a 2-day job, pulling the tank. The customer brought it in and it wasn't picking up all the fuel right. So it was a 50-gallon tank, but it only would access about 37 gallons. So part of the fuel pump was messed up, so we got to work on that. This is a cab off job we did on a 6.4 Power Stroke for head gaskets. It blown some head gaskets, and we bulletproofed it and basically did an R&R on it, and it took I want to say like a week and a half or 2 weeks. So this was a big project for us, for me and Jimmy during my internship. Here's a 6.4 that I was working on, 2008 Ford. It had needed I think this one was the leaking oil cooler, so we had to replace that oil cooler and replace it with a new one. Overall, my experience at AB&T was pretty good. I think looking back, I would have changed a few things. I would have put some of my ideas down on paper, shared it with my supervisor. That way I could have accomplished more of the things that I wanted to accomplish, specifically with the financial side of the company, maybe doing more sales or billing and invoicing, that kind of thing. But I had a great experience. I got to learn a lot, got a lot of technical experience that I would have not have gotten without this internship. And overall, I'm really happy with my internship.